Basic Bible stories. Baby Moses. Baby Moses. Lesson 2. Baby Moses, you know, the mass murder, genocidal madman of the Old Testament. Oh boy. Of course, feel free to like, subscribe. Feel free to check out my description, follow the links. You can you can dislike if you want. Also, feel free to leave a comment. Though I don't read comments, but you can do that. The baby Moses had a godly mother. This is a tremendously inspiring story. Perhaps we should call the story the Great Mother rather than the baby Moses. Of course, there's no evidence this guy even exists. Her name was Jochebed. Most people probably do not know the name of Moses' mother. She has been completely lost in the shadow of her famous son. As far as man is concerned, rest assured, mothers like Jochebed will not be forgotten at the great rewarding time. She is mentioned only twice in the scriptures, and then only incidentally. You will find her mentioned in Exodus 6:20 and Numbers 29:59. She is one of the greatest women who ever lived. I don't know how she gave birth to a mass murderer. She was married to a man named Amram, who is mentioned only a few times, and that is the general genealogy of the tribe of Levi in the Old Testament. Though Jochebed is unknown to most people, God has given her a place in the scriptures. Like that, a few others. The conditions surrounding baby Moses. Exodus 1:10 through 14 and 22. You can go to KingJamesBibleOnline.org if you want to read these verses also. These scriptures teach us that the birth of Moses certainly came in a dark era. Yeah, despair and all that. Couple who would not give up. Among these slave Israelites, there was a couple, Amram and Jochebed, the parents of Moses, who did not give up. They had no fear for the king. Jochebed was expecting a child, and one can imagine the thoughts that passed through her mind. Suppose the baby should be a boy, what will I do? According to the king's commandment, they should have to cast it into the Nile River to perish. Such a thought would drive many people to despair. How many remains of babies have they found in the Nile River? Is there any evidence of this? Of course not. Or anything about this thing. They had faith in God's word. The reason we know they had faith in God's word is that Romans 10:17 says, So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. Hebrews 11:23 says that Moses' parents had faith. This is because the word of God. Notice 3 reasons they had faith. A, the word of God taught them faith. B, they saw that Moses was a proper child. There are those who would say that this means he was the proper child. God had told his people about the promise and chosen deliverer of his people. Jochebed and Amram knew that Israel would never perish, for the promises God had made to Abraham were that his nation should never perish. Consequently, this couple had faith that God would fulfill his promises. They no doubt realized that Moses was a proper child and believed that God could care for him. They were not afraid of the king's commandment. Again, we find this in Hebrews 10:23. They feared God more than the king. Yes, it's something certainly needed today. Jochebed did all she could for her son. Exodus 2:3. When Moses was born, his mother and father did not cast him to the crocodiles in the Nile River, but rather they did everything they could to keep him alive. Countless thousands of other Hebrew mothers had cheerfully done this. However, Jochebed hid him as long as she could possibly could. Maybe she hid him in the loft and all this other places, She trusted it all over. She turned it all over to God. After placing the little ark among the flags, she went back in her home in faith and confidence that God was going to keep his word. Romans 8:28 in action. God begins to work. When a mother does all she can and puts her trust in God, then God does the rest. God moved upon the heart of the heathen daughter of a heathen king. So at the very time that Moses was in the little ark by the riverbank, this heathen daughter came to that very spot to bathe. Yeah, she bathed in the Nile River where there's crocodiles and the water's dirty. Think about that. Think about that. She came to the very spot. The Nile River is a huge river, and yet this daughter came to this very spot. Another interesting thing is why she went to bathe in the dirty Nile River. She no doubt had the most expensive bathhouses that money could buy, and they even admit it. That's what's so funny. Some of the most elaborate bathhouses of ancient times have been found in the ruins of Egypt. These princesses had an unexplainable desire to take a bath in the river. Ah, goodness, this princess. What a miracle. Of course, it's a miracle it didn't happen. the baby cried. This is so interesting. The baby cried and he found it. The Bible simply says, and the baby wept. And the Pharaoh's daughter grabbed it, saw it, loved it, and took it home. God used a junior. The next step in Romans 8:28 is God's using of Miriam, the sister of Moses. Moses' mother had gone back home, but his sister had to remain behind. We don't know why she remained behind, but we do know when she saw the princess pick up the little baby, she rushed in and said something like this. I know a woman who had just lost her little baby, and is so sad. She would just love to take care of this little one for you. The princess told her that this was satisfactory. Not only did Jochebed get her baby back, but she got paid for taking care of her own baby. Praise the Lord! Romans 8:28 still in the Bible. Moses, the heir. Since this Pharaoh had no sons, Moses, adopted by the daughter of Pharaoh, would be in direct line of succession to the throne of Egypt. He grew up in the palace of Egypt, and yet later he turned down all of this to suffer affliction for the people of God. Hebrews 11:24-25. God used all of this to lead Moses to lead his people from the land of bondage, reminding us again of Romans 8:28. Let's notice a few observations that we ought to learn. A, every boy should have a godly mother. B, every boy should have a godly father. C, even little girls like Miriam can be used of God to do big things. D, we should do all we can and leave the rest to God. E, we should know the Word of God and have faith in it. F, we should trust God to see that all things work together for good to them that love God. G, suffering for Christ is better than popularity with this world. Memory verse, Romans 8:28, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. Bye-bye.